mutually augmenting each other.
The billions are actually in the boring. And I speak to a lot of companies.
Even if you fail, that's okay. You spend 5 minutes on it. You can go back and retry your next time.
Like chat, have a conversation aimed at getting things done.
AI infrastructure for the generative AI involves a super micro having
for support and for people to come together in a way that's meaningful within their business.
How can I version my prompt because I don't want it to change it? I just wanted to try a new prompt and compare them.
The plain algorithm that scans from a database, 1,500 serious technology magazines and science magazines for 3,000 keywords. So it's actually 15 million.
What was the last time you were excited about taking an Artha live session? Hi, I'm Gerald from Artha Learning, and in my session,
Innovations and applications are flowing from the design possible to the adjacent possible and then to the actual. And especially for core technologies, it's fairly easy to predict the speed with which it will happen. Many of these technologies now abide to the exponential growth. So,
intelligence without the human. The human starts the process, they're there throughout the process, and they're there when the final variable is consumed, utilized, and affects, hopefully improving their life. The human is central to everything in artificial intelligence.
Hi, I'm Neha Shukla. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a New York Times featured inventor, best-selling author, and AI ethicist at the World Economic Forum. And I'm so excited to be speaking at the Artificial Intelligence Summit and giving a talk on the future of the AI revolution, building equitable and ethical tech for society.
I think that every leader realizes that they need to get smart about this for their own country and for humanity.
So we're ready to go, Gerald?
I think we want to wait a couple more minutes. It's 1:03.
So what is really cool about what you can do with Microsoft on OpenAI
to understand
So this is all
ChatGPT is
through
not
natural
natural
language processing.
You know, there's a famous saying, if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. Could you do
what we call a fantifly, and on the right is a creature called a torsion, which is a...
All of those technologies are converging, and they are mutually augmenting each other.
The billions are actually in the boring. And I speak to a lot of companies.
Even if you fail, that's okay. You spend 5 minutes on it. You can go back and retry your next time.
Like chat, have a conversation aimed at getting things done.
AI infrastructure for the generative AI involved with Supermicro having
for support and for people to come together in a way that's meaningful within their business.
How can I version my prompts because I don't want it to change? I just wanted to try a new prompt and compare them.
The plain algorithm that scans from a database, 1,500 serious technology magazines and science magazines for 3,000 keywords. So it's actually 15 million.
What was the last time you were excited about taking an Artha live session? Hi, I'm Gerald from Artha Learning, and in my session,
Innovations and applications are flowing from the design possible to the adjacent possible and then to the actual. And especially for core technologies, it's fairly easy to predict the speed with which it will happen. Many of these technologies now abide to the exponential growth. So,
intelligence without the human. The human starts the process, they're there throughout the process, and they're there when the final result is consumed, utilized, and affects, hopefully improving their life. The human is central to everything in artificial intelligence.
Hi, I'm Neha Shukla. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a New York Times featured inventor, best-selling author, and AI ethicist at the World Economic Forum. And I'm so excited to be speaking at the Artificial Intelligence Summit and giving a talk on the future of the AI revolution, building equitable and ethical tech for society.
I think that every leader realizes that they need to get smart about this for their own country and for humanity.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Artificial Intelligence Innovators Summit. My name is Gerald Haman, and I'd like to welcome people from over 25 different countries. And I want to thank you for staying up late over in Europe and getting up early over in Singapore, and staying up late in other parts of the world so you could go ahead and join us. This event is sponsored by the artificialintelligenceinnovators.org. We have over 1 million members, making it the largest AI-focused group on LinkedIn that also focuses on machine learning and other related topics as well. Some of you have been coming to these summits for over 6 months. I know that because this is the 6th event, number 6. And these summits are held every month on the 3rd Thursday. And they're 3 hours long. We have 5 speakers give 15-minute presentations. And the speakers also give you great content. They share 20 PowerPoint slides during their 15-minute talk. And the good news is you can download them. As a matter of fact, we'll be putting in the chat a link so you can download the slides today if you'd like. The format, I should let you know, is inspired by 2 of my favorite meeting formats. One of them is called Pecha Kucha. Pecha Kucha, if you haven't heard of the word before, it's a Japanese word which means chit chat. And Pecha Kucha presentations involve speakers using 20 PowerPoint slides and speaking for just a matter of 6 minutes and 40 seconds over their entire presentation. I like to give more time. So we have 15 minutes, which is 3 minutes shorter than the TED Talks, which is another format that inspires a lot of our speakers. Many of our speakers end up giving TED Talks after they've spoken at the summit. We also have one what we call AI showcase speaker. And this speaker gives a deep dive into some very innovative topics for a total of 45 minutes. And yes, you do get some PowerPoint slides from that as well. So I've given you an overview of the Artificial Intelligence Innovation Summit, but the key part that people love is what happens at the very end. And we have speed networking for the final 45 minutes. We actually get into breakout rooms of small groups and people get to network and exchange ideas about artificial intelligence. I'm happy to report that LinkedIn announced we have over 21,000 people registered to attend today, but our audience is even bigger than that. This is being live streamed to my 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, and it's also being live streamed on YouTube so that the overflow crowd that can't make it into Zoom can still join us and see these wonderful speakers. Most of you are part of the artificialintelligenceinnovators.org group. This is a link, the page to over 1 million people that are all passionate about innovation and AI. And LinkedIn has designated this group an active group because it has so much activity. So thank you all for participating. And we get hundreds of thousands of views every week on the different posts that are made as well. I'd like to thank one of our sponsors today. Online Interpreters Worldwide is doing the production and the Zoom production and any other tech-related activities that make this event run smoothly as well. So I'd like to thank Robert Savabadi and Online Interpreters Worldwide. If you need interpretation services, they can do it. I also want to introduce you now to a heart-shaped handshake. I want you to shake your own hand right now. And even though I can't see you, I'd like to imagine that there are thousands of you that are shaking hands. Now switch hands and shake the other hand. And I share this with you because I want you to be able to have human touch. And this is a virtual event, but some of you are going to meet at face-to-face as a result of the connections that you made. So now we've done the heart-shaped handshake. I'd also like to invite you to support one of our sponsors. That sponsor happens to be SolutionPeople, and SolutionPeople makes something called the No-Brainer. And if you go to nobrainertool.com, as a matter of fact, we'll put in the chat a link to the Amazon page where you'll find that there's a ChatGPT guide and an entire tool to help you engineer some prompts when you're working with AI. Another sponsor is LinkedIngroups.com, home of 50 different LinkedIn innovation groups with more than 1,250,000 members. So if you're looking for other networking events or other events on innovation, go to toplinkedinevents.com. And there at toplinkedinevents.com, you will see about a half a dozen different monthly events that we produce to bring people together to network and to share innovative solutions. I also want to remind you that at the end of this summit, when all 6 of the speakers are done, we're going to network on Zoom. So you might want to write down this website name so that you have it at the end of the event. It's simply networkonzoom.com, and that's where you can connect up and make some healthy connections with some really interesting people. So here we are. I'm sharing with you my screen where you can see that we have 6 different speakers, and I'd like to introduce those 6 different speakers. We're going to bring them out, different time zones for different speakers, so we really have a global group. And this first speaker, number 1, is George Boretos of FutureUp.io, and he's joining us from Greece. And the title of his presentation is AI, the Big Picture. Perfect one to start out with. And then the second speaker, you can put up on screen, is Audrey Chia of CloseWithCopy. She stayed up till 1 a.m. in the morning in Singapore. It's really early, so she's already had her tea. But Audrey is going to speak on supercharge your growth with AI times human copywriting. Our third speaker is Garima Gupta of Artha Learning. She's from Canada, and she's going to speak on how AI can change your online learning experience. Speaker number 4 is Kai Wang, PhD of iAger, and his title is Using AI for Innovation, Research and Practice. Looking forward to that one. And then joining us is speaker number 5, Lars Tvede of Supertrends, who's going to give a presentation entitled How We Boosted Total Productivity in Our Company by 20 Times with AI. And so that's a great case example that he'll share. And then from the consulting firm KPMG is Kelly Dowd, who's going to be showcase speaker number 6. And Kelly's presentation, the title is Leading Digital Transformation with AI and Human-Centered Design Innovation. That should be a splendid one for all of us to be waiting for. So there you see the speakers. They're all lined up, ready to be the inspiration for your afternoon. And so our first speaker from Greece is George. George, are you available?
Yes, I am. Hi to everyone. Hi, Gerald. So should I share my screen?
Feel welcome to go ahead and share your screen, indeed.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So again, hi to everyone. Gerald, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak in front of so many AI enthusiasts. As you have guessed already, I'm an AI enthusiast myself. Actually, I'm an AI founder, and I have more than 25 years of experience in the market. I have launched 3 startup companies in the AI space so far. I have raised some millions in VC funding, and I have worked closely with Fortune 500 customers. My latest endeavor is Future App, an AI company, again, of course. And it's all about using proven predictive AI models to help customers, to help corporate customers optimize their pricing and also forecast sales or market trends. So I will be using all my experience to share some insights and a quick overview of the current status, but also future directions of the AI market. But most importantly, I will be sharing some real-life evidence about the usefulness and the benefits that you can derive from using AI, especially in business. So let's start with the insights. And the first and most important thing is to understand what happened with the AI, with the interest in AI, and especially its evolution after the launch of beloved ChatGPT, before almost a year. Before that, the interest for AI was a bit low, much lower than it is today, and it stayed the same for almost 5 years. But after ChatGPT was launched, everything changed, as we all know by now, but we can see it through Google Trends, because ChatGPT got a lot of interest, it increased through time, through the following months, and the same happened with AI. I think it's fair to say that AI followed the lead of ChatGPT and not the other way around. And it stayed the same after June to July, somewhere there was some loss of interest for ChatGPT, and the same happened with AI. But immediately after, there was a rapid recovery, and both AI and ChatGPT are at all-time high in terms of interest right now, with a strongly increasing trend. But I don't think anything, all you see so far, it's anything new, because we all know that AI and ChatGPT attracted a lot of interest and it's increasing through time. I think the key message here is something else. It's that after such a long time, after 12 months that ChatGPT has been launched, and so many other tools have been launched, AI tools have been launched in the market that are quite successful, still ChatGPT is the single most important AI player that sets the scene, it sets the pace for the interest for the overall AI space. So this makes us wonder, why is that? What's the secret behind the importance of ChatGPT, especially in this so important market, the AI market? So let's try to answer that. First of all, an obvious answer would be that, okay, we all understand that ChatGPT is one of the most intelligent AI tools, and it has been passed the Turing test, for instance. It has this human-like behavior, so why not? It is intelligent, but is it as intelligent as humans? So is it what we call general AI, or even better, super AI, super intelligence? Or is it just another narrow AI tool as anything else we have known so far, which is specialized in scope and lacks reason? I know that some of you will find the answer perhaps surprising or perhaps even disappointing, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, all the tools that we have launched so far, including all generative AI tools plus ChatGPT, of course, they fall under the narrow AI category. We have nothing that comes even close to being general AI or super AI. And according to some experts, this will never happen, possibly. And possibly we're even following the wrong direction. So perhaps we'll never get there. But again, this is another discussion. The important thing is that still we haven't answered our question. So perhaps the answer about the importance of ChatGPT in the AI market lies on the business traction of the tool. And what's best as a leading indicator of business traction of examining equity investments. So let's see what is happening there. But unfortunately, nothing there at all. The overall generative AI space captures only 4% of the overall equity investments in the AI. And the bulk of it goes where? To more mature and highly successful AI technologies like predictive AI or computer vision. So again, we don't have an answer to our question. And what's the answer to our question? What's the key behind the importance of ChatGPT in the AI market? I think it's only one thing. That ChatGPT was the first ever AI tool, advanced AI tool, that hit the mainstream market. It was available to everyone, to the masses. Before that, most of the AI tools, advanced AI tools, were targeting and were used by a smaller elite of visionaries and technology enthusiasts, what we call the early stage market. But after its launch, because the tool was so easy to use and delivered such a great value, immediately it became popular to the masses and it hit the mainstream market. And by doing so, it helped also popularize AI in general and all the other tools in the mainstream market at all. And I think this democratization of AI was triggered and initiated by ChatGPT. And I think this is the most important contribution of the tool, even more important than its great technological breakthrough. So let's see now the usefulness of all these AI tools. And let's start from generative AI and see its benefits. This is a recent Harvard Business School study. It compares two groups of business consultants performing their daily tasks. One is using generative AI, more specifically GPT-4. The other is using nothing, no AI tools at all. And the difference in their performance is great. It's 43% in favor of the group that is using generative AI. And that's a living proof and evidence for something that we all have guessed by now, that generative AI tools are such a great performance and efficiency boosters. But it doesn't end with generative AI. It goes to other branches of AI like predictive AI. This is actually a case, a customer case, that we did with my first startup company using the same predictive AI model that we are using in Future App today. And the case back then was the customer asked us to optimize prices cross countries for their mobile applications. Once we did that with our predictive AI models, they wanted to test these results and they performed a pricing experiment. And the result was amazing because they increased their conversion rates by 3 times and they almost doubled their revenue. And the same exactly model, the same predictive AI model was also used for a long-term forecast of the global economy. Actually, this forecast was published in a scientific journal more than a decade ago. And based on data up to 2005, it predicted the global economy up to 2030. And what you see now is exactly the first prediction results against reality. I mean, for the first 17 years of projections. And as you can see, for the first 14 years, the projection is spot on, with almost no error at all, despite the fact that during these years, we had some serious economic shocks and events, like, for instance, the credit crunch of 2008, the recession of 2009, and all the turbulent years that came afterwards. Despite this fact, this model was spot on all the time, and the only time that it deviated a bit from actual results was when, well, guess what? When the pandemic kicked in, because if you think about it, the pandemic is not an economic event, so of course you cannot predict it 100% with an econometric model. But even if you count in all years, all the 17 years, still the accuracy exceeded 97%, which is great. And the final case is a recent case that we did in Future App together with our partner Neurensics, a company specializing in neuroscience. And in this case, the customer had a new product launch. They didn't have any data at all, but they wanted to optimize prices per country and also identify key country targets for their launch. So Neurensics performed a specialized pricing research using neuroscience. They delivered some input that we used in our predictive AI model. And based on that, we extrapolated to countries where we didn't have any data at all. So together we were able to deliver all the different optimized prices per country and also specific country targets based on predictive insights that we created through our models and the pricing research from Neurensics. Actually, we have presented all our findings to a webinar that we did together with our customer and Neurensics, and you can watch it by following the link below. So this begs the question, if AI is so successful, and it is, there are many, many cases out there that proves that, then is it going to replace us, simply? I think not. The answer is not. And why is that? Because as humans and AI, we have different competencies. So we are better in giving strategic direction. We are more creative. AI is better in automating and performing complex but straightforward processes. It is when you combine those two, when you put humans in the loop together with AI systems, that you get the most out of the AI system plus out of our performance as well. So no, we're not going to be replaced. But yes, what I think is that we are going to see a shift in focus on what we will do in the future. As humans, we are going to focus in the things that we are great and better, like being creative, for instance, or giving strategic direction or high-level monitoring. Now, a couple of things about the future direction of the AI market. Some directions are pretty obvious. So yes, with more generative AI tools, obviously we'll have more and better smart content. With better predictive AI tools, we will have better predictions. Okay, we understand that. Autonomous cars, they will be part of our lives eventually. It will take some time, and mostly not because of the technological obstacles. Obviously there are, but I think we're heading there. We're okay there. But mostly because of some legal and ethical considerations regarding autonomous driving. But eventually we will get there. But I think some of the most interesting things in AI will happen by extending generative AI with advanced human-computer interaction. Think about extended reality, virtual reality, things like that, and robotics. And the other way around, by using generative AI as a smart interface for software and IT systems. Also, I think that we will see a lot of domain intelligence systems like econometric models in predictive AI. So systems where you can understand what is happening under the hood. You can explain the output and suggestions that you are getting from your AI tool. So it's not a black box anymore. And that means that you can intervene up to a certain extent and control the system. Now, some personal projections, predictions. I think the obvious one, generative AI is going to be the standard way of doing things in the future. Actually, I think it has become the norm for most of us anyway. Something that Bill Gates recently mentioned is that AI agents are going to be a standard in the future and will appear in the future. AI personal assistants that work cross platforms and applications and automate things. I see that we will see more data, but data will be of questionable quality. We will spend more time checking and validating them. I think also that the true risk of AI is not to be replaced by AI, but mostly not to follow this great opportunity and to ignore it. And finally, I think that we will see some new jobs popping up in the future, like prompt engineering did, but we'll see other things as well, like AI forensics and other. So finally, my suggestion is obviously to embrace the AI opportunity. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I love AI. But I think that, of course, we should be mindful of all the risks and challenges and we should address them. But let's face the facts. It's common sense. AI is here to stay. It's happening already. And it's going to change our world, your world, regardless if we're working into technology or not. So it's better not to be afraid or be intimidated by it, but instead to embrace, leverage it, and get the most out of the great benefits that come together with AI. So Thank you very much for your attention. Again, embrace AI. Of course, feel free to connect with me on my LinkedIn account or check out our company Future App, our website, our LinkedIn account. And if you are interested in how predictive AI can help optimize prices or for strategic forecasting, feel free to scan this QR code and get in touch with us. Again, thank you so much. And thank you, Gerald, again for the opportunity.
Thank you, George. That was an excellent presentation. Thank you for staying up late to join us. And I know that you will be one of the keynote speakers that's going to attend the speed networking at the end. So people will connect up with you that way as well. We have had a wonderful presentation. Now, as we take a look at our roster of talent, let's see who's next. We go to Audrey Chia of CloseWithCopy, and her presentation is entitled Supercharge Your Growth with AI times Human Copywriting. So thank you, Audrey, for staying up. Are you feeling energetic?
Yep, it's 3:30 a.m. here, but it's bright and sunny in my background, so all good.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'll take it away then. Hi guys, nice to meet you guys. I'm Audrey. I'm from the sunny island of Singapore, and I'm really excited to be here. So I'm the founder of CloseWithCopy, and I run a hybrid human AI copywriting consultancy. So today I'm actually going to share with you guys how your marketing team can supercharge your growth with human cross AI copy. So most copywriters are pretty much afraid of AIs, right? In fact, 1 year ago, I was one of them. ChatGPT launched about a year back, right? And my client actually texted me and said, Audrey, you are going to be replaced. And he sent me the link of ChatGPT. And at that point in time, I was extremely horrified because I immediately saw the potential of AI, and I knew that I had two options. One of which was to fight the current, and the other was to ride the tide. Guess which one I took? So my background is actually in advertising, and I've worked with many global brands like Nike, IKEA, and Samsung, as well as many startups and small businesses. And I know what it means to deliver on both quality and speed. And AI has really accelerated this process for me, and I've seen so much cost and time savings in my everyday workflow. At this point in time, you might still be thinking, I'm not sure I know the potential of AI, but I'm not fully utilizing it yet, right? And you might be thinking, maybe it's not for me. Well, don't worry. I taught my mom how to use ChatGPT, and you can too. So this was one of my very first carousels that I posted early this year. And my mom is rocking it, right? She's using AI every single day. She's writing reports, appraisals, and workflows, and she's like on board, man. And I think this is also a way for me to share with you guys that you don't have to be afraid. Anyone can adopt it. It isn't hard. You just need to understand the basics, the fundamentals, and you can get started. Generative AI is one of those really rare, but also beautiful opportunities that has come in our lifetime, right? And it can help us to unlock greater opportunities at scale. And today I'm going to show you how. But before we dive into it, I want us to play a little game. So I have two polls over here, right? We have post A, the one on the left, and post B, the one on the right. One of these two posts is actually 100% generated by AI. I want you to pop in the chat, which ad do you think is 100% generated by AI? Is it the one on the left, post A, or is it the one on the right? And I'm actually going to read out the little sub copy you see there, and you can see if you can tell the difference, right? The one on the left says, get ready to unleash your ultimate aura from inside out. The new SK2 Gen Optics Ultra Aura Essence is made with SK2's rare and exclusive blend of ingredients, unlocking your true aura. The one on the right says, transform your skin from within. The new SK2 Gen Optics penetrates deep to target spots, revealing a brighter, more luminous you. All right, please take your pick, everyone. Is it A or is it B or no idea? Yeah, and I can see in the group chat, right? There are lots of people having differing opinions. And the answer is actually B. So the one on the right is actually 100% generated by AI. I used a tool called Pebbly, and I used ChatGPT to generate the copy. And even the tone of voice of the copy, right, is very similar to the actual social post copy of SK2. And this is just a mini example of what we can do with AI. This is another one that I did 2 months back with a friend called Jennifer. She's an AI architect. And you can see here that we actually created a magazine based on a fictional location that we envisioned. So this is when you have AI and humans coming hand in hand, right, to co-pilot for a vision. We had a vision of a place in Japan that doesn't exist. And she prompted for the visuals and I prompted for the copy. So everything you see here is generated using AI, but with the human creativity and vision in mind. And the funny thing is someone even texted us and said, where is this place in Japan? And they tried to buy a ticket there, but unfortunately it doesn't exist. So of course, ads, one of my favorite things. This is an amazing unlock. I've been running ads for a long time. And for us, we have to figure out what is the right audience insight, what is the right framework to test ads at scale, right? You need it to be tailored to your brand. You need it to also appeal to your target audience. And you need it to have top performing frameworks. For example, a before and after ad, a features ad, a testimonial ad. You can use GPT to generate ad copy at scale, and then you can quickly pop it into your Figma or Canva file to quickly generate ads as well. And the thing that I really, really love are landing pages. This is what my consultancy is actually doing right now. We're helping web design agencies figure out how best to create prompts for their clients to develop landing pages at scale. Of course, how do we get this part started, right? And this is the part that I guess you've all been waiting for. It's actually being able to find out how you can write human AI copy with a beautiful hybrid framework. And this is the exact framework that we use at CloseWithCopy. Now, AI without strategy is pointless, trust me. If you hear an AI-generated content that sounds AI-like, you'll be like, nah, that's not for me. But if you can make it sound human, if you can add emotions, if you can tell a story, you'll realize that the quality of output maintains here and people still resonate with the work. So it's always a combination of higher level human strategy with AI execution. And it's a 3-part framework that I use at my consultancy. We have your human strategy, figuring out target audience positioning, what your brand is going to sell, what the USP are, and then also your AI execution, what tools, what prompts do you use to get there? And finally, of course, how do you integrate them seamlessly? Yes, exactly like that. So putting it all together, right? Now, how do you combine everything that I just shared with you? Like, what does it mean, right? I'm going to show you like a more actionable kind of example. So you understand what I mean by strategy and insights. So at CloseWithCopy, we always figure out what makes a good landing page, right? As you can see here, some people hot shoes, some people hot bags. I love landing pages. I have so many of them. And I go through different landing pages to figure out what page works for what industry. A SaaS landing page would be different from an e-commerce landing page, would be different from a real estate landing page, right? And you have to figure out the components that make a landing page convert. So after going through that strategic process, now we can break it down. What makes a good landing page? You need a strong hook, a really, really compelling subhead, social proof, insight-driven unique selling points, and a clear call to action. But these are just some of the many components that make a really good page, right? So you can see here that instead of asking ChatGPT to come up with a landing page from scratch, I'm telling it, hey, you know what? Here is what I'm looking for. I have a vision in mind that combines the best of my knowledge with what I want you to execute on. Please follow my vision, right? So with this in mind, ChatGPT is able to create something for me. Now you have your vision. Now you need to take a look at ChatGPT's building blocks. And there are 5 key building blocks that we use. You need to prompt it with the right role. In my case, I always give it the role of an experienced copywriter. If you use the word experienced or expert, you will find that the output is sometimes a little bit better. That's just from my own experience. And then you need to give it the context, right? Context actually is the most important part of prompting. I'm sure most of you already know this, but the greater the context, the better the output. My context can be like 2 paragraphs long, where I tell it everything about the company, the positioning, the clients, the USPs, what I want to call out, right? And then you figure out who's your target audience. Who am I speaking to? In my case, it could be marketing teams, CMOs, CFOs, CEOs, who are looking for ways to scale their business, right? So who is the audience you are creating this prompt for? Think of the audience in mind, and then you prompt it in, and you'll see that the results are a lot better. Tone of voice. Tone of voice is something that I play a lot around with. There are different ways to capture tone of voice. You can use ChatGPT to analyze a website's tone of voice. You can feed it some examples of your writing to figure out what is your tone of voice. And of course, you can study like tone of voices of top brands, for example, Apple versus IKEA, right? What is your tone of voice? And if you want your brand to sound like that, feed that prompt to ChatGPT, and it will understand what the voice you're trying to go for. Finally, the output. What exactly are you looking for? Remember what I said earlier about the structure, right? In this case, the output that I'm requesting ChatGPT to generate isn't just a landing page. It's a landing page with all the components that I've listed before. So now you're combining everything and you are putting it all together to form one seamless flow. So you can see here, I have 2 parts to a very basic prompt. This is not a full prompt, but this is an example of how you can get started. You need to combine your human knowledge with AI execution. So in this case, I'm telling ChatGPT to act as a professional copywriter or an expert copywriter who specializes in crafting landing pages that convert. And I want them to craft a website for my company, for example, Excel. Here are some guidelines to follow. And in this case, you're giving it the context. What's the company name, what we do, the target audience, the tone of voice, and the call to action. The richer the context, the better the output. So over here, it's really a very minimal context that I'm giving. In my case, we usually have a huge load of context for ChatGPT so that it understands what you're actually going for. I also highlighted what I wanted it to include as my unique selling points. For example, faster invoice processing, scalability, etc. Remember to always talk about the benefits, not the features. If you're selling a product, think about what's in it for the audience and feed it into your ChatGPT prompt. Finally, you can structure the output according to whatever you have gained from the first part of your research, right? Have your hero section, client section, why's, and key benefits. And you can be really detailed when you're giving instructions, right? You can tell ChatGPT that, hey, my headline should be a hook of not more than 5 words. So you can see that I have a vision in mind. I know the structure. I know what makes a landing page convert. Now I give it a prompt and I give it the context, the tone of voice, and a framework to guide the output. And this is what you can probably expect from a few rounds of testing. This is V1 of the landing page prompt that I showed you guys. It says revolutionizing startup finances with AI-powered accounting. And then you even have your 3 pillars, right? 3 times faster, 99% accuracy, plus 50% insights. Remember to always review and refine the results. Don't take ChatGPT's copy at face value. Always give it the right information for your company and tweak the copy. Even if you look at like the bottom frame, right, we have transform your CFO into a strategic powerhouse. So if you're not happy with any of these sections, you just have to regenerate it. And whenever we do it at our consultancy, right, our clients basically have a certain framework or prompt. They generate multiple versions and then they stitch different parts together and they get like a really high quality copy in a matter of minutes. For myself personally, I used to take about 2 weeks to craft a landing page. And right now I can generate the same landing page with the same quality in a matter of hours or maybe days. So that's the kind of immense time, cost, and manpower savings you can expect if you know how to use AI, combined with human strategy. So even for myself, right, I just want to say that it's really functional and actionable stuff. This is my own landing page. I built it with my own prompts, of course, with, of course, my knowledge of what my consultancy does. And of course, I review and refine the results. If you're able to have that vision and understand your audience and your tone of voice and prompt for it, you can get super, super good results. And the copy for this was done in 2 days, actually. Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. So at the end of the day, when you're thinking about AI copywriting, what do? Don't be afraid to just experiment, right? The goal is to play around, figure out the right prompts, the right tools that you enjoy using. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just choose like one tool that you really like. Some of my friends like Midjourney, so they spend most of their time on it. As a copywriter, I love ChatGPT and ChatGPT 4 specifically. It gives you really, really good results. Then build from it. And after you've built like a structure or framework for yourself, finally, you are able to scale. And that is the beauty of it. If you guys want more AI supercharged copy tips, follow me on my LinkedIn. I also have a 5-day mini masterclass that I'll be popping in the group chat, or you can find it on my LinkedIn profile as well. So thank you so much for having me. I think I'm right on time. Back to you, Gerald.
Yes, you are. You are right on time. And everybody, you can download Audrey's PowerPoint slides. We'll put a link in the chat to download all the PDFs. Speaking of the chats, the chat is on fire with a large number of comments and connections and things that people are making. And I do want to encourage you to copy and paste the notes from the chat into a separate document, because Zoom webinars doesn't allow you to save the chat. But there are a lot of good comments, and so there are new people coming and joining us as we continue on. So we are on track with our second speaker that joined us from Singapore, one of my favorite cities. I did the world record-setting Thinkathon at the Singapore Stadium, where we brought together 8,000 people and generated 380,000 ideas in 60 minutes with 8,000 people. So it was a fun memory of Singapore. So here we are now looking at the agenda. And as you know, we have a total of 6 speakers for the summit. The first 5 speak for 15 minutes. And the last speaker, number 6, speaks for 45 minutes. So we are going to Canada, and we have Garima Gupta of Artha Learning, and her presentation is entitled How AI Can Change Your Online Learning Experience. So Garima, we're ready to learn.
Awesome. Yeah, and ready to learn online. Give me a minute. Let me share my screen. And thank you, Gerald, for inviting me to this. Very excited to be here and very excited to present to everybody. I want to just make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. What are you seeing?
The AI Advantage looks great.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here and talking about AI. One thing that I'm getting from all the conversations, all the presentations today, even, is just AI being such a multi-purpose, omni-purpose tool, right? We can use it for pretty much every industry and every vertical. But I'm going to laser focus my talk on one specific, highly potent use of AI in education. What advantages can we reap using AI embedded in education and training and learning, both at a school level, but also mostly in lifelong learning. And, we all are online learners now. So how can we change that learning experience for people like us, for online learners? Because honestly, and partly sadly, education, training, learning, these functions are typically really slow to change. Our schools today look basically the same they did 100 years ago, isn't it? The rate at which knowledge is becoming obsolete is increasing daily. But the university's curriculum, they take years to change and approve. But things are changing. COVID and AI have provided us the reason, the impetus, and the tools to bring about positive changes in how online learning works and how learning works in general. But before we dive into that, why am I talking about all this? Who am I? I'm Garima Gupta, founder and CEO of Artha Learning, and we do a lot of work in custom learning design, building custom learning solutions for our clients in government and higher ed and nonprofits and corporations, right? And as we did that, and I am a software engineer by trade. So when generative AI came along about a year ago, we're excited about how we can use this in e-learning. And so I've been doing a lot of work around that. We've just started a new website called AIforLND.com and created a plugin that allows embedding AI in any sort of learning situation, which is, I'm happy to tell you, nominated for 2024.
Here is your reminder. Change LinkedIn event state to January 25th. If you finish this.
Okay. Going back to on track. The tool that we've created is nominated to be the Learning Technology of the Year for 2024. And what is that doing and what are we doing? Before I go there, let me ask you, what was the last time you were excited to take an online learning course? How does it feel to you when, what comes to your mind when you say online learning? And there might be different feelings, right? Depending on how that experience was created. It might be one of joy. Hey, I'm going to learn this new thing. A lot of us learn on YouTube, which is unstructured, but still online. Or maybe it is something of focus. I want to learn this particular programming language or this particular skill, and I'm focusing on that. Or might be just opposite of focus, where because you can learn online, you can now do that one executive MBA or one certificate that you couldn't have done if it was in person, because you can now multitask. Or it just might be like, oh my God, I got to do that compliance course again this year, right? And you're just click next, and get to the quiz and just finish the quiz, try to get 80%, right? All of these are honestly, how people sometimes feel about online learning. But mostly the fact that it is a self-paced, isolating experience, an isolated experience. Can we do something about that? And can we change that? And yes, we can. And we can change that narrative in all situations. In K-12 school experience, where teachers are simply overwhelmed. There is not enough teachers in schools to support every child the way they want. In higher ed colleges and students, where students are way more tech savvy and ask way more than perhaps the professors can reasonably provide. In continuing ed, where we are balancing work life and upskilling together, how can AI support there? Workplace onboarding, technical training, soft skills training, each of these have innumerable applications when we think of how AI can support here. The basic idea being we are all lifelong learners. Here we are, this huge community learning about AI, right? This is lifelong learning. We cannot just stand back. And how does AI support in that? So the big question first to ask before we get to solution is, what's the problem? What is the problem with digital learning today? And I invite you to write what you think in the chat. When I think of it, the first thing that comes to my mind is that it is inflexible, right? I might know something already, but I still have to learn it. Or I might not know something and you've jumped onto the next point already. There is no way I can fix that pre-tailored content that has been created for me already without knowing who I am as a learner. It is non-responsive. If I write something, it won't respond to me. right? Sometimes it's boring, and there are things that we can do, but those are expensive things and they take a long, long time. But on the other side, there are huge benefits as well. It is self-paced. People can do it at their own time, at their own pace. How do we overcome these problems with digital learning today? So I'm going to show you some ideas and some demos of how, if we add ChatGPT or any other AIs using their APIs within an e-learning module, we can create all these things. We can do open text processing. We can assess essay type questions. We can give feedback. We can create simulated role plays. So much of applications of AI within the field of education, training, and learning, where we can suddenly basically make your courses come alive, make a course that you take. So this is, of course, of super interest to me as a learning designer, but also for all of us as as online learners. What can we expect to see in the future as we evolve in this? Let me give you a few examples. Help with assessments. For example, we are doing this for an entity in Ontario where this is being rolled out to 17,000 higher ed students who are immigrants and are learning digital fluency. Those students are learning how to write an email. Now, the best way to assess them is to have them write an email and give them feedback. There is not enough support here to do that for 17,000 students. So we've created this AI module where they're asked to write an email. Now, if they write a poor email, we give them a rubric. The AI will check the rubric against their answer and give them feedback. And in this case, you can say that they got like 5 out of 20 marks. They can go back, try again, write a better email based on the feedback, and AI will again give them detailed, specific reflection on their work and regrade them. This time I got 15 out of 20. Great. This absolutely is impossible at this scale and immediately in an in-person environment, right? Can you imagine this happening in a school where I write an email and the teacher can give that to 50 students, 100 students at the same time? Impossible. Let me give you another example. Let's say I am learning about climate change, right? Now, maybe I don't even know what methane is, and I'm like really, I don't know a whole lot of stuff that you assume I should know. Vice versa, maybe I have any other question at the end of the training. So far in online training, we can't create a slide that says, hey, you have any questions? Ask me, because all of this is pre-built. But now I can create that where, as a learner, I can ask, okay, I finished this module, I have this question, and AI will give you an answer, right? And in this case, because I'm calling an API, I've pre-conditioned the AI to work as a climate change coach. So if somebody asks an irrelevant question, right, who is Beyonce? For example, it will still answer, but it will answer still in the role of a climate change coach. So it says, yes, this is Beyonce, but her identity and achievements are not related to greenhouse gases or climate change. Number of different things. We can use it for role play, where AI is acting as the person on the other side, and this way we can learn how to simulate, right? And a great use case for call center training, for conflict resolution, for communication skills. Not just that, AI can also, what we can do is have it read from a complex technical document. So imagine the applications for technical training. In this case, I've taken a document like this, which is a manual on Sony headphones, right? And now the user can ask me any question, and the AI will read this and answer based on this document. Imagine what it can do for all sorts of technical training, policy training, HR training kind of work. And so here I said, how do I clean them? It is reflecting back on the content given on the document and answering from that document, right? If I ask it a question that is not even in the document, it's a headphone manual, there is no display resolution, for example, it will tell me. It will tell me that, right? So those are just different ways. Here is another example, and I think this is my last one, where we can use it as an infinite question generator. Now imagine this, if you preparing for something like a project management certification, right? Or a high school science student learning about this, AI can keep generating random questions. I can keep writing the answers. In this case, maybe I don't know what covalent bonds are. I think they're finance bonds, right? And AI will keep giving me feedback. I go back, it will generate another question. I answer, it will give me feedback. This little activity can become infinite practice activity. And how helpful is that for me as a high school student who's preparing for an exam, and I just click a button, get a question, give my answer, get my feedback. What can that do to the way we learn? This excites me, and I think that we are going to see a lot more of this in the coming days. As if you are in this field, if you're teaching, if you are coaching people, if you are a learning designer, or if this is something that happens in your organization and you want to do it, there are a few things to keep in mind. First thing is, it's easy to get excited about these things, but to do them well takes time, takes patience, takes practice. And we heard about prompt engineering in the last, from the last speaker. A lot of that, structured use of this under human guidance. And that's why I like this, because you're not sending your students or your learners to ChatGPT or Claude or any other AI. You are creating a limited access sort of environment for them, where if they ask who is Beyonce in a climate change module, they will get related answer, right? They just, we are channeling them. Right use cases are important, of course, keeping in mind how topical the content is, how difficult the content is, and regular audits. This is something that is so important for anybody who is looking to implement AI in any which way in their organization. I'll give you an example of an audit report that we create when somebody uses this sort of e-learning module. This is an audit report where learners go through a module on work from home policy, and then they say, oh, what should you do when somebody does not, when somebody requires an extension. And if more, you can see that if many people say, oh, I'm going to deny her request, I will fire her, this is what AI is responding. This report is amazing because it does two things. One, it lets you see in your learner's mind, what are they saying? What are they asking? What is their problem, right? What are their thoughts? But also, what is AI responding? Is it in line with your company policies? Is it answering the questions correctly? Is it role-playing correctly? So it becomes very, very potent for somebody to run those analytics and understand. I just, I want you to think about if we can implement these kind of superpowers of AI in our learning and development and training and teaching at every level, right? There is a lot of fear-mongering around AI, and that's not unfounded, but just great examples. We can create a supportive, responsive learning environment that is always available, and especially available to students who are in need. So think about that, and that excites me. Yeah, connect with me. I'm looking at the clock. We have about 10 seconds left. So connect with me on LinkedIn and on our website, aiforLND.com. And I'd love to hear from you if you see any other potential use of this in your world. Thank you. Gerald, back to you. On time, whoosh, this is crazy. And you're muted. Gerald, you're muted. This has to happen every time in a Zoom webinar.
There we go again. Thank you. I had been unclicking it and it wasn't unclicking, but I am now unmuted. And thank you, Garima, for your great presentation. You definitely got me to think about online learning in a new and venturesome way. So thank you. And now, as the screen shows, we are at speaker number 4. And we're going to have Kai Wang speak about using AI for innovation, research, and practice. So Kai, thank you for joining us today. What do you have to share with us?
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
curious.
Thank you for this opportunity. So, hi, are you able to see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Gerald, for this opportunity. So you put a lot of effort into this and really do a great service for us. Thank you and your team very much. And thank other speakers for great talk and great insights. So today, let me share a bit of my learnings and opinions about this topic of research and practical implications with regard to using generative AI for innovation. I am Kai, and I am from the company AI Asia, which I founded. So I've been studying creativity and innovation for the last 15 years, and I find generative AI to be a major disruptive force in this field. And I believe some academic research can provide a bit of insight. Now, this is obviously just a quick peek, but let's see where we can dig up. So one of the first key questions that I hear a lot is exactly how creative AI really is, because we have seen so much of AI generated content, right? So exactly, is AI more creative than humans now? Let's take a look at some empirical studies. So here is one study published in Scientific Reports, which is a top journal. And basically, researchers compared 3 chatbots with people, and in terms of their ability to generate ideas. And a specific creative task is to come up with alternative uses of common objects such as ropes, right? So imagine if you give an answer of, I'm going to use a rope for, let's say, hanging stuff, right? You would get a low creativity score. And if you say, I'm going to use a rope for burning, then it's a slightly more creative answer. So based on expert evaluation, here's the result. On average, AI's ideas were assessed to be more creative than people's. And even their best ideas from AI also were evaluated to be either equally or more creative than people's ideas. So I think this is the first academic study that I have seen in a top journal showing AI beating humans in a creativity test. So this is a milestone. Now, does that mean AI is more creative than people? And I think probably we cannot make that conclusion yet, because this is just one test. And there's a chance that AI has already seen this test before, because basically AI has seen most things on the internet. So we cannot make that conclusion yet, but it shows really the potential of how creative AI could become, right? And by the way, ChatGPT 4 is the best chatbot tested in terms of creativity. Now let's take a look at a task that is more realistic, because we don't really come across a problem of coming up with alternative uses, right? So let's talk about a creative task where people need to come up with business ideas. So in this Harvard research, basically there was an open call, and people with internet access would be able to submit business ideas with regard to sustainable and circular economy. And they basically compete for a $1,000 prize. And of course, researchers also asked GPT-4 for business ideas in this field. And long story short, AI solutions had higher environmental impact and financial return assessed by the experts, but human solutions appear to be more innovative. So in other words, as powerful as GPT-4 is, we could still potentially compete in the level of innovativeness if we have a large group of diverse people. So anyway, we see that AI can be generating really useful ideas in this case, and human can generate some innovative ideas. Now, keep in mind though, so far the AI has only been used in its original form. In other words, there was not too much of prompt engineering or fine tuning and so on and so forth, right? So it could have even more potential. Let's move on to the next topic, which is how exactly do we use AI to promote innovation? And we can think of in different ways. So on the strategic level, we can think of the impact of AI on business model. So this is a study published in Review of Managerial Science. Anyway, long story short, we could consider the impact of AI in these three aspects. As an example, if you are an entrepreneur in mental health area, right? You want to use technologies to improve mental health issues. We could think of what new capabilities or new processes you can bring in with AI. So for example, you can think of new capabilities such as AI-powered diagnostics, AI-powered personalized treatment plans, or virtual mental health support, right? Or you can think of new processes such as AI-supported documentation and scheduling. And we could also think of the new propositions, meaning new product, new service, or new markets, such as AI-powered apps, AI-powered mental health platforms, or self-help courses, and so on. And the third aspect is new revenue model or new cost structure, right? So for example, with an AI-powered app, maybe now we can think of subscription model or freemium model instead of having the traditional way of patients paying doctors for each session, right? So there's new revenue models can be involved. And we can also look at the problem-solving level, right? So in terms of problem-solving, how might AI help us in exploring problems? And there are some studies suggesting that, and I'm pretty sure people are doing that already. So AI is really good at doing some quick research, right? For example, you can dig up information about your industry, your competitors, their product, their service, their price. And you can also dig up Amazon review and maybe summarize that and find out the sentiment and find out what's the best features that people like. And that can be done by just, some pretty quick prompting through generative AI. So that is helping us think through the problem. And in addition to that, we can also use AI to help us generating ideas or solutions. And by the way, Dr. Eben is a leading expert in this area, and he proposed this method called tri-association, which is connecting three different concepts to develop a new idea. So here's a piece of chocolate that I find very, very appealing, right? I would buy it. And it is connecting three concepts of elephants, butterfly, and of course, chocolate. And using the generative AI, and particularly in this, using its ability to connect different things and also visualize it, is really a very powerful way of expanding our thinking and potentially help us break fixation. So instead of keep doing the same thing over and over, it may bring a new perspective. And there are other ways to promote or improve our idea generation using generative AI. For example, TRIZ, which is Theory of Inventive Problem Solving, is a systematic methodology that is based on analysis of millions of patents throughout global patent databases. And basically, it summarizes different kinds of techniques or mechanisms for invention. And as an example, there's so-called a principle of segmentation. And the thing here is that AI actually has pretty decent knowledge of these general methods. So you could ask AI, okay, what is this principle of segmentation in TRIZ? And AI can tell you. And as an example of segmentation, right, modular furniture is designed in a way that has independent components, right? So with a furniture being modular, it's much, much easier to, for example, expand your furniture or downsize your furniture or fix it, because if something's broken, just take it out and replace it with a different part. So that's an example of segmentation. And because AI has a decent knowledge of all these things, we could just ask AI, okay, take this principle and apply it to my problem. What kind of ideas do you have, right? And another technique that is pretty straightforward now is that we know AI can take, persona, right? Or take a different perspective. So for example, we can simply ask AI, okay, generate some ideas for this problem that Einstein would think of, or Steve Jobs would think of, right? So it will help us break out of our habits and think in a more fresh way. As an example here, so imagine if we go back in time for 60-some years, and at that time, NASA specifically sent astronauts into space for the first time, and there was a major issue, that is the astronauts couldn't really write in space because pens don't work in space, right? Because there's no gravity. And we could ask, for example, ChatGPT, okay, how might we make a pen work in space, right? And ChatGPT tells you this, and that's actually what a company did 60 years ago. They spent $1 million and developed this space pen. But we could also ask AI to, redefine the problem first, right? Because we don't have to ask question this way. What if we ask question of how can astronaut write without gravity, right? So it's a different problem as opposed to improving the pen. And if we ask how astronauts can write, it turns out we can use pencils, Sharpies, or tablets with stylus pens. And if we ask AI, okay, what would Elon Musk think of, right? And maybe because of Elon Musk has a company, Neuralink, it would think of neural interface, which is a very fancy idea, but it's really sort of tapping into the mind of Elon Musk. And we can see how powerful and useful AI is in improving our creative thinking, but I want to emphasize the risk of doing that a bit too much. So what I mean by that? So AI is able to come up with ideas, maybe help us understand problems and so on and so forth. That's all great. But let's think of the risks that can be involved. If we do that too much, right? So here's the risk. We do need a lot of human expertise to use AI well. So if you want to do, for example, original research, it turns out that you would need a lot of expertise to be able to get the best outcome out of AI. And for us to have a lot of expertise, we need a lot of practice, right? If we delegate too much to AI, it may not help us build the expertise. And more importantly, perhaps, innovation is much more than ideas, right? So we also need to implement ideas, and we also need to persuade other people of the value of our ideas. And for that to happen, actually, people are naturally more willing to implement our own ideas or persuade others of our own ideas. So if all the ideas we get is out of AI, it may not be as exciting, or you may not be as motivated to do it, right? So for all those reasons, I believe that as powerful as AI is, we should use AI in innovation. But we need to keep in mind that we still need to develop our own innovation skills first, and we should always be in the driver's seat in this effort. And we also probably would be better off to learn from AI. In other words, instead of being just a passive consumer, we should actually learn from AI. If you find something great about AI, learn from it, and we get better over time. So based on that belief, this is what our company does. So we provide innovation consulting and soft skill training, and we help people think more creatively with or without AI, and we help people improve their soft skills with or without AI. And the thing here is that, like I said, there's a risk of depending too much on AI, right? So in this process, even though we know all kinds of tricks of using AI, and we do teach that, we want to emphasize that in the process, we want to build the skills instead of, delegating all the things to AI and lose our own motivation, lose our own skills, and become totally dependent on it. So I think that's a better approach moving forward, especially AI is so powerful and getting even more powerful. So thank you very much for your attention. And I believe we all share this passion in innovation and AI, and I will be more than happy to connect on LinkedIn. Thank you again, and look forward to talking to some of you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai. That was an excellent presentation. I love the statistics and the examples you cited of research that's been done. And it points out that there's a lot of research opportunities that AI is creating for people to compare AI versus humans. And so it brings back memories to me when I was doing this 20 years ago, when working with artificial intelligence to stimulate ideas and compare it to humans. And now it's being done again. So as you can see on my screen, we are at speaker number 5. I want to say hello to the new people that have joined us in the past hour or so. We are going to our 5th speaker in a row, and we have Lars Kavidi of Super Trends, and Lars is going to cite an example of how they boosted total productivity in their company by 20 times without or with artificial intelligence. So Lars is joining us late at night again. He's joining us from Switzerland. We're waiting for the video to line up.
My name is Lars Tvede. I am a person who has been writing about AI for the last 20 years from the point where it was very immature. And I've been excited to see what would happen. But when it really exploded in our face last year, there were a number of surprises for me. One thing was how abruptly it certainly took a step up. But the other thing was that it was far more crazy than I had expected. The other stuff that it can increase productivity is something I did expect, like anybody would. And I am a serial entrepreneur, and we used it a lot in one of our companies. So it's actually a very interesting case of what a company can achieve with this. So the name of this particular company, which I founded, is called Supertrends, and we do what we call 4th generation business intelligence. And believe me, I didn't know that until I actually described what we did for GPT, and then it said, well, that's 4th generation business intelligence. So there you go. So what we had was that I have previously founded a venture fund. And when I had that, we got all these pitch decks, about 700 the first year. And we were looking at pitch decks, and then was like, sometimes we just threw something out because we didn't understand the industry. And I wanted to be able to monitor what goes on. And I mean, in tech primarily. So we sat down and we decided, together with my CEO, Klaus Brix, who is on the slide, we decided to create a timeline of human innovation. So to understand how innovation works, it should go all the way back through history, and then it should go into the future, which is, of course, the hard part. Predict what people will invent and in which years they will invent it. So currently, our timeline contains about 16,000 historical innovations and about 4,000 predicted innovations. And we could never, with the fairly small team we have, created that with the speed and accuracy that we have done. And so this is what I'll tell you about. So how does it look? It looks like this when you see it on a screen. So here you have a number of different years. And for instance, in 2030, you can see there's more than 1,000 different predictions for what will happen there. And then you can go down and you can choose a first you choose a year, and then you choose a subject, and then you click, and then you see all the different predictions for that subject and then that year. Or you can slice it and dice it however you want. We also have it at mobile, then it looks like this. And that timeline, because it goes 3.3 million years back and 10,000 years into the future, would be many miles or kilometers wide if we kind of in this format should show the whole thing. So it's an enormous amount of data. And the interesting thing is that what we want to understand when we make innovation is that there's the actual, these are the technologies that exist right now in your business, automobile business, some kind of software business, whatever. And then around that, there's the adjacent possible. This is the so-called Kaufman model. The adjacent possible, this is what you could make now because the technology is basically works. So for instance, when the smartphone was invented, somebody saw that the different basic criteria for making a smartphones, they certainly had appeared in the adjacent possible. You had the always-on phone, you had the touch screen, you had the compass, you had the mini camera, etc., etc. Another example is Elon Musk saw that certainly you had cars in the actual, but really powerful batteries were coming into the adjacent possible, and then he connected that. And then further out, you have the shadow future, which is stuff that seems desirable and it doesn't violate the laws of physics, but doesn't work yet. So because we have this timeline, we can see in the past and going into the future how different stuff is flowing and how it is combining. So we can see how different core innovations and applications are flowing from the desirable, the possible, to the adjacent possible, and then to the actual. And especially for core technologies, it's fairly easy to predict the speed with which it will happen. Many of these technologies now abide to exponential growth. So you can actually just roll timeline forward and you can see how it will move towards becoming commercial. But again, in the middle circle between the two inner circles, this is where you can look at how you can combine different things. And this is one of the things we enable. But first, we had a very primitive timeline. And I remember it's about a bit more than a year ago, we had about 5,000 things in our historical timeline. And the description of each was something like this. And then we implemented open source AI to tag the whole thing, because tagging is really time consuming. For instance, we have 125 main tagging categories, and then we have free tagging beyond that. So we ran the tagging on all the things we had on our timeline. And for this one, for instance, 2 million years before BC, the control of fire, it found two things, heat and light. But many things disappeared in our system because they were not tagged to anything. And the way it worked was, if it was not tagged to anything, it simply didn't appear on our screens. And then we tried to run AI on different things. So we just did with GPT, we did a run on this same 2 million years before Christ, the control of fire. And then we ran the tagging again. And then it found like 20 different things to tag it with. And then we understood that we have to go through the entire timeline and add more things and add more explorations so that the tagging system could find out what it related to. So all in all, to create this, we did about 75,000 AI prompts and queries. So the prompts were mainly about finding stuff, but the queries were very often about illustrating tagging stuff, which is kind of routine. And it ended up being a process that I'll describe now. So first, you have AI makes that raw list, and raw list of a technology in a business can be very long. Like we take one technology, maybe 500 different things. Now we use Bing and we use Bard and we use GPT and we compare them. Then you have a person who edits the list down, removes duplicates. Then it's also rated for importance. Then AI does an elaboration, and the elaboration we request is more elaborate, more words, the more important the thing is. Then AI debates the predicted year. So we go through all the years, and then we ask GPT, now it's GPT-4, do you think these years are realistic? And then finds mistakes. And then we have external experts that validate the timeline. Then AI tags the whole thing, as I mentioned before. Then an AI illustrates it, and then it gets submitted to the system. So this is a process for one technology, for instance, or one sector like interior design or carbon capture technologies. This whole process, apart from the expert validation, takes about 3 or 4 hours. But it has been a long time to get all these systems to work together. And then the other thing we do is that every day we have an algorithm. This is not AI. It's just a plain algorithm that scans from a database 1,500 serious technology magazines and science magazines for 3,000 keywords. So it's actually 15 million combinations that it looks for every day, and then spits out a huge number of articles that are relevant. And then we also scan what 1,000 most important tech, macrofinance, and geopolitical gurus in the world do in interviews or when they write something. So we get this huge daily list, completely computer generated, of stuff that is of very high caliber and relevant for our business intelligence. But then we use natural language processing to write summaries of it all. So one important story, for instance, if there's a big technology or science breakthrough 1 week or 1 day, it will appear hundreds of different places. But in our system, it becomes one story, and it picks from all the different sources and put together a compiled story of what is the essence of that thing. But it can also be the opinion of a famous technology guru or famous predictor. And then we use natural language processing to write an average of 250 daily stories about the essential news and insights that our system finds. And when the AI is tracking everything, automatically it finds connections, because every or almost every innovation in the world is a new combination of previous stuff. So it finds that. And so far it has found about 200,000 different connections. And this is very important because when something is expected to happen, let's say in 2 or 3 years, we can see what it depends on and what it will enable. So it's a tool to predict what will happen in business. And then what we were thinking about was, how do people really want this? So we have created a dashboard similar to the, well, it's a lot less data, but it's similar to the Bloomberg dashboard of financial and economic information. So this is the dashboard mainly about technology. But the way people really work, and I also work, is that you want an answer to a question in a given situation. Let's say that you are standing in an airport, it's 22 minutes to boarding, and then you can just say, give me a summary of what has happened since noon last Wednesday, because that was the last time you asked. It knows what you're interested in. It has all the data. Data is validated, and then there's a voice that knows there are 22 minutes to give you an update. Or you can say, I'm on my way to a meeting with a person who works with 3D printing for the food industry. I know nothing about it. Give me a report or give me a 5-minute summary of what I need to know. And then it does that. So we are creating something that really is not a product, but a mass customized solution to everything. And there's no way at all we could have done this without AI. And a rough calculation is that we are, with AI, at least 20 times as productive as a team as we were before AI. But also, we can create stuff now that we couldn't have done before. So at any time, you can just request an update about or about a brief on any subject, written or oral. And then finally, we are creating AI-powered super trans learning labs where people sit and go through an exercise to learn about the future. And in these learning labs, AI will record everything that is said, and AI can distinguish between voices. So different people will sit with iPads, and then they will go through a number of different choices and open-ended questions and submit to a wall. And then they'll go up and present a defense. And then AI will listen to that, and then it will write a summary of all the different views and arguments and proposals and counter proposals and criticisms that happens there, so that you get a complete follow-up after such a session. So in summary of all what I've said is that we use AI to find information. We use AI to illustrate it. We use it also to write sector insights and technology insights. We use it to summarize what happens when people are together, start discussing stuff. We use it to create structure, to find patterns, to find relationships. And this is only the beginning. And the real solution is that it becomes a part of your personal AI, where it feels like you have a personal advisory board that consists of the 1,000 smartest people in the world and the essence of everything that's written about anything, any subject, any area of business that you're interested in. So AI is a huge productivity booster for us.
Speaking of productivity booster, I want to thank all of you that are being productive by staying with us for the AI Summit. We have just heard from Lars, and he was full of energy and full of ideas, and his PowerPoint slides you'll be able to download. And so here we are, almost ready for speed networking. Keep in mind that when the next speaker is finished, we're going to move into speed networking by using small breakout groups within Zoom meetings. So that's going to be an opportunity for you to connect up with people. And Kelly Dowd of KPMG, got to keep those letters straight, KPMG, one of the world's largest consulting firms that has artificial intelligence and innovation practice. And Kelly today, I love his title, here it is, Leading Digital Transformation with AI and Human-Centered Design Innovation. And live from Kelly, where are you located?
I am located in Washington, D.C.
Okay, the hotbed of consulting firms are located there. So thank you for being with us and being active in the chat. I saw your comments in the chat. People can connect up with you and learn more from you. Take it away. You've got 45 minutes.
Well, thank you so much, Gerald. And once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to connect and share insights with this incredible audience. Before I start, I just want to say this quickly. For every disruption, may it be COVID or flu or Gen AI, there's innovation. So, which means for everything that has happened, maybe negative, there's always, a positive impact from it too, that really transform the way we do things, the way we transform businesses, and also collaborate with people. You have digested insight from our incredible speakers. George actually talked about AI, the big picture. You also got to hear from Audrey, who talked about supercharge your growth with AI. You as well had an incredible insight from Garima, who talked about how AI can change your online learning. You heard from Kai Wang, who talked about using AI for innovation. And you also heard from Lad, who talked about how we boost total productivity in their company. So I am Kelly Dowd. I am a human-centered innovation and experience design lead at KPMG US. And also I am the founder of Innovation AI, GPT. One of the things I'll be doing today is to just share, let's say, how you can explore the role of leadership in AI-driven digital transformation. As well, encourage the interplay between human-centered design, innovation, technology, and strategy. We will explore teams to empower teams, rather, to discover the blueprint for collaborative innovation. And last but not the least, establish measurements for the impact of digital transformation. You can also connect with me at any point in time during this presentation. To start with leadership imperative in AI transformation, in the ethos of transformation, everyone is a leader. Whether you agree or not, whether you think, or perhaps you're not holding a big job title, that you're not a leader, frankly, you are a leader, because every day you contribute ideas to make your workplace a better place, to make the world a better place. So you're leading, you're also leading your own life. You have people around you that you lead as well. And AI is here to stay. You can't, it's not going anywhere. It is right here. And we just have to find a way to strategically and pragmatically leverage this to our competitive advantage. So leadership in AI transformation is the act of navigating the uncharted waters of technology to steer organizations towards innovation and growth. And as you know, leadership is not just about guiding the present, but also, architecting the future and finding ways to embody the roles of strategic visionaries and pragmatic planning to harness transformative power of AI. I will, to deep dive into the roles that leader plays, and as I liked it before, leaders play a very strategic role, and also they play that pragmatic planning. But let's just deep dive into the leader strategic roles. One role is leaders champion AI innovation, and by that is, this gives a leader the opportunity to be an advocate for transformation by eloquently steering the ship in the right direction and providing a safe space that fosters psychological safety. Another role is securing resources. You have the critical role of pulling the right diverse and inclusive team. Just imagine a chef in a kitchen running a kitchen with a lot of people. The chef have to find the people with different skills, so bring them together and empower them to be able to prepare the delicious meal that you consume in a restaurant. Another critical part of it, role that leaders play, is aligning AI with business objectives. As you know, it is empirical to always tie it back to the business, because at the end of the day, you want your business to scale, and also you want to be able to meet the market demand, what your consumers need, what your clients are yearning for. All of the things that keep your clients awake at night, you want to find ways to tailor to meet those objectives. I will share some practical use cases that we have seen so far. We noticed that companies that have integrated AI into their business operations actually see 15 to 20% increase in productivity. I mean, a practical example is Microsoft's turnaround with its cloud and AI investment. KPMG as well did sign a partnership most recently, about $2 billion partnership with Microsoft, and we have seen tremendous productivity, tremendous results as a result of that incredible partnership. And as you know, you can use AI, right, as a tool for decision making. You can also use AI for even relating to your customers as well. So all of the things that perhaps you think might waste or consume a lot of your time, you can automate that, and you can use AI to streamline, to make things more efficient for you. The key takeaway from this, right, is, you are the leaders, you are the catalyst for AI-driven change. Your vision shapes the future of your organization. So successful AI transformation requires visionary leadership, a robust strategy, and a commitment to culture change. You have to understand, right, with change comes with the impact, right, and the influence of behavior. All of the people that you're trying to lead, you must find a way to have this streamlined alignment that really fosters the collaboration, fosters the clear communication, especially when you are dealing with a cross-functional team. And last but not the least is, you have to strategically, design the roles in a way that you can all co-create together, because at the end of the day, it's really all about collaboration. And to go into the big part of it, that is the human-centered design and technology strategy. I understand a lot of people might be wondering, what is human-centered design? Is this another buzzword, like design thinking or something? Well, it's not really far from each other, right? Because the core elements of human-centered design is just a critical focus on people, right? So basically, you just have to incorporate people from the very stage of the conception of the idea, right, to the stage of even to the prototyping, of even testing the idea before you finally roll out. As we go on, I will share some framework so you can see what it really looks like. But it is not a buzzword. So for every dollar invested in UX, that is user experience, there's a huge return on investment. And to just give you a quick definition of it, human-centered design is an approach to problem solving commonly used in design and management frameworks that develop solutions by involving the human perspective in all steps of the problem solving. So if I take, for example, I need to create a product from you, right? It is imperative for me to understand the problem. For me to understand you, for me to know what you want, for me to know what really keeps you awake from from sleeping, for me to know what is really disturbing you. So as a result of that, I have to, ask you lots of questions to really discover what the main pain point is. And from there, I developed this whole approach and mechanism of trying to understand you, right, based on the conversations that we've had. It could be, for instance, it could be a survey, right? Or it could be an interview with you. So I have this clear conversations, ask you proper questions, because at the end of the day, I don't want assumptions, yeah? I don't want to go ahead to create a product or perhaps design a service or even a particular framework that would not address your need. So I have to understand. And the next stage is ideating. So based on all of the data that I or my team have collected, the next point is to ideate. Okay, we have seen this. Let's diverge and converge, right? Let's what are the key components that could really enable this client to sleep well? Let's say, for example, right? Let's say you are dealing with culture transformation in your respective organization, right? You are about to invest, let's say, $20 million, right, on adopting AI to ensure that there is this smooth operational efficiency in your respective organization. And that is going to lead to a huge shift overall in your operation, and also which will poke into the cultural aspects of your organization. So with that is I come up with different ideas on how that can be how that can impact you. And after ideating, the next stage is let's design, right? Because we'll have to prioritize those ideas. Then we design a potential sketch of what the main product might be, or what a service might be, or what a process might be. Because at the end of the day, you have to really take a step back, think about the people, think about the process, think about the data, think about the technology, right? Of the in and out of the product or service you're trying to design. So you have to have all of this behind you at all time when leveraging the principles of human-centered design to design products or create services that are specifically tailored to humans. So from the designing, you go to evaluate, because frankly, it's not done. After you have to keep evaluating, this work, right? We tested it? We actually created a product? Did this work? Did it resonate? Did it solve the problem? Do we need to go back? Do we need to iterate? So it's just an ongoing process that never ends. And that is the last part of that, which is iteration, constant iteration. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep checking to ensure that the product or service or process that you have created is actually functioning. Now, let's just deep dive into some use cases. Let's say if you also look at the healthcare industry, Artha, right, is an AI tool for doctors that reduces the time for diagnosing diseases by analyzing patient data and suggesting personalized treatment plan. Even if you have to bring it to hospitality, Airbnb use of AI and human-centered design to enhance its recommendation system, leading to a 10% increase in bookings, right? So this involves understanding users' behavior, trying to understand their preferences, and just taking in feedback from left and right that is really tailored to the search and booking preferences of your potential customer. And overall, what is your experience? Because at the end of the day, you want your customers, right, and your employees, because it's not just about the product, it's also about your people. You want them to have a wonderful experience. Just a quick takeaway from this, from the principles of human-centered design and how you can leverage this framework too, integrating human-centered design with AI ensures that technology solutions are not only innovative, but also truly meet the needs of users. Your users, your users, your user is a critical component. So I have this video I'd like to play to all of you, and I hope this resonates. I will just speak behind as well as the video plays. So one of the things that I learned growing up, right? I learned that it takes a village to raise a child. It became clearly understood when I started my professional career as a fashion model. Then I morphed, right? Collaborating with professionals in the industries. It doesn't just take one person to put on the whole show. It takes a tremendous group of people, right, to be able to like put on a fashion show. That is just my previous life, right, as over 10 years ago. But if we have to like bring this to the modern day, right, what you see right now, this is the incredibly well-designed National Botanical Garden Conservatory in Washington, D.C. The thoughtfulness, the human-centric design, the cross-industry collaboration by horticulturists, architects, government engineers, and even people like you and me that they surveyed. So I understand that, okay, if we have a conservatory like this, how would you feel for you to see so many species of, of plants just right next to you, where you can like interact, you can touch it, you can feel it. So that was how this conservatory came about. If you've never been to Washington, D.C., perhaps it should be a reason why you should come to Washington, D.C., because this is incredible. It gives you life. But the most important thing is you see what innovation really is, right? The practical application of human-centered design integrated with collaboration, creativity, design thinking gives you an incredible, well-thought-out masterpiece like the National Botanical Garden in Washington, D.C. So just further take us to the other components of this too is the synergy in cross-disciplinary teams, right? So it is just really important to have a team of that consists of members with different expertise who collaborate to achieve common goals. The synergy lies in combining diverse skills and perspectives to foster innovation. Look, there's so many ways to like think about this too, because let me use a quick analogy of food. I'm sure everybody likes food, right? If I asked you in the chat and said, if raise up your hand or just type in the chat and say, oh no, I don't like food, what would the answers be? I doubt we'll have 0 because we all have to survive. But the interesting thing about food is the meal you eat, even though it's soup, right? It has tremendous amounts of, let's say, ingredients or spices that you have to put together, right? To make it to taste delicious, for you to devour and say, yummy, this is amazing. I just want more food, right? That is the importance of diversity. So diversity, having a diverse team, having an inclusive team is really, really critical, because you're talking about diversity of ideas. In this case, when you have a team that have different expertise, it really makes your innovation, it makes your innovative products delicious, more effective for your customers, right? And for your consumers overall to digest, to utilize, and overall make an impact in their life. So I will just give you a quick framework here that you can use in your respective businesses too, that could really help you foster that synergy, right, of having a cross-disciplinary team. So one is you have to think about the stage of team formation, right? To my previous point, you have to look at it from the perspective of who are the people that are on this team. What is their background, right, in terms of like skills, expertise, in terms of their like age? Because frankly, you really need a perspective in the room. In as much as you're trying to create a product, a service, a process, right, for people, you need diverse perspective, you need diverse age. I mean, I'm sure you all know this right now. that currently there are over 5 generations in the workforce. And all of this generation, we just have to find ways to get along. We have to find a ways to communicate effectively. We have to find a way to collaborate effectively. And we have to find a way to co-design and co-create. And with that is bringing all of those voices to a room where everyone can feel heard, can feel seen, can feel respected. And most importantly, you have to create this psychological safety as well. I think psychological safety is a word that I would say it has been really underplayed or like, undervalued. Each leader here should just prioritize psychological safety. Whenever you're forming a team together, just think about it. Who are those people? What are their skills? What is their race? What is their gender, right? What is their age? What's their demography? Then the next part is the stage of team numbing. Well, you've actually brought all of these people together and you say to yourself, okay, is my job done as a leader? Well, no, my dear, now your job is not done as a leader because you have to now think about, okay, how will those people communicate? What is their preferences? Let's say, for example, you have a team of people that are, let's say, in 5 different continents, and they have different time zones. Even in the US, you have 3 different time zones in the US. I mean, I have teams in Denver, right, which is central. I also have a team in San Francisco. So I have teams everywhere. So I have to perhaps understand, okay, this person, what time would do they wake up? What is their schedule like? I cannot just, put an invite on their calendar just because, I saw them online. I think they should be awake by this time. No, you have to be really thoughtful as a leader, right? To be more inclusive in pulling all of this team together and also setting the tone, right? What are the things that we're supposed to do? What is our value system? And most importantly, what is the vision? Because without no vision, I mean, there is no roadmap, right? So what is the vision? Where are we trying to go? And you have to also have to find an alignment. So how do we align as a cross-functional team, right? Or as a cross-disciplinary team? How do we make sure that, okay, we communicate well, we collaborate well, we foster and promote psychological safety, and most importantly, we feel that, okay, our ideas are valued, our ideas are valuable, our ideas are taken into consideration. I mean, let's be realistic, right? There are some ideas that will be tabled down right before you, and you might overlook it and say to yourself, well, no, I don't think this idea is good. You might have to be in that position. I don't think so. However, the question is, how do you communicate that idea or that thought of an idea is not pertinent enough? Or how do you communicate to a team that an idea shared might not actually meet the organizational objective? Or how do you communicate to a team to say, well, I appreciate you. I think you're incredible. This is valuable. But you don't do that, right? You don't, because even the word but alone can serve as a negative to the person that is listening to you. And the person might actually feel, well, I was up all night, thinking about this, and I feel like, perhaps I had something poignant to share with you. I had something that would actually move this organization forward. But you just told me that it's garbage. No, you don't do that. So as a leader, you have to find a way to strategically communicate and, most importantly, diplomatically communicate your points to your team. And that is professional setting, yeah. But if I am to bring that home and say, okay, to your individual life, you have to be strategic, right? You have to diplomatically communicate your points and your feedback to your partner as well. to your siblings. So it's just how it is. It is how life is. Because if you, yes, I understand that there are so many different cultures out there, and some people are very direct. So take, for example, feedback, right, is a critical component of team numbing. As a Nigerian American, so I was born in Nigeria. I lived in Bulgaria. I lived in the UK. Now I live in the US as an American citizen. But I noticed that I have been to all of those places. But the interesting part is all of these places have different way of communicating and even relating feedback to people. Take, for example, in Nigeria, right? It's not what you said that matters. It's not. It is how you said it, the delivery. That is the most impactful way. So I could say, you know, okay, I have a group of team together, and I'm just gonna put myself as person number one, and I'm gonna use the word. My name is gonna be Katharina in this case. And please, if there's any Katharina in this presentation, please forgive me. I am not calling you out. I'll just, you know, use as an example. So, and I at Katharina giving Kelly feedback and saying, yeah, I think you were really, I think your idea was really cool. Yeah, your idea was really cool. So, but the same Katharina gave Gerald, right, feedback and said, oh my God, your feedback was amazing. I love everything. It's just really pregnant. This is exactly what we're looking for. What just happened is, right, Katharina tried to relate similar feedback to two people. But however, you can tell, right, that one is sincere and the other one is not, just by the intonation, even by the pitch level, and also by the gesticulation, if possible. So when you are doing team numbing, you have to think about all of these critical components to ensure that your team, right, feel valuable, they feel seen, they feel heard. And the last stage is team performing, right? So as a team, you have to figure out a way that, okay, now we've been doing this and we've been collaborating, and it has to get to the stage of execution. How do we do that? How do we ensure that each and every ingredients that we have in the soup is the right ingredients, and perhaps we actually measure the right quantity, right, to add to the soup to ensure that it gives us the right kick and the right taste that we need. When you think about that, you're actually thinking about, okay, all of the necessary measures that goes into your team collaborating efficiently, and also measuring the impact of the collaboration. You know, towards the end of this presentation as well, I will share insights on, you know, measurements of innovation. So how do you measure innovation? I know that is something that is so, we don't necessarily have the best answer, right? But there's so many frameworks out there that talks about how you can measure innovation. When we get to the point, I will elaborate more on that. So to just give you some practical use cases on how you can actually, you know, create the synergy between cross-disciplinary team as well, what we have seen in industry and some data. So Google's Project Aristotle, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Google Project Aristotle. So this is a critical case study that we found that the best teams are those that feel safe to express diverse ideas. So you have to look at it too, okay, even Google, right, a global tech firm, actually tested us out, and it worked like perfectly that well. If you really want a collaborative initiative, right, if you really want to like design a product that is cutting edge, one of the best, right, one of a kind in the market on your respective industry, it is critical to have those diverse ideas, right? You can find a ways to like diverge and converge, but make people feel that, yeah, ideas are heard. Unilever is another organization that that is showing how managing a diverse team has led to groundbreaking product innovations, and a 25% of faster time to market. Last but not the least, NASA, right, is also another organization that has managed diverse teams to achieve unified goals in space mission. Look, I am lucky to have one of the best humans on Earth, as a friend. It's one of my friends that works with NASA that is also part of this Mars project. I have heard and learned a lot from him on how they, actually pull this diverse teams of people together to table those ideas, prioritize those ideas, and just put a metal to the pedal to just say, okay, you know what, this is how we're going to do it, just because of the fact that they've been able to bring diverse ideas together to come up with the next new ideas on how we can take people to space. Diverse teams, when managed, are more creative, innovative, and solve problems faster, and can achieve greater success. Your success is your team's success. Your team's success is your success. So as a leader, always think about, is my team diverse enough? Does my team have the right representation, the right skills, the right age? Are those people ready to make a product that our customers will consume, right? Are those people ready to make a product that is actually a good representation across the board? So these are critical conversations that we should be having as innovators, as we think about creating the next groundbreaking idea, the next AI, or perhaps super intelligence, which we don't know when it's going to come. Maybe it's already here, we don't know, right? Or perhaps ChatGPT 5 that is so close, that is coming out soon, right? We have to think about the whole diverse perspective too. And we have to think about how, as leaders, we can create a psychological safe space to foster collaboration, clear and succinct communication, co-creation, designing and implementation of cutting-edge ideas across the board. So now let's talk about the other part too, which is the success. How do you measure this? We know that the metrics of success are quantifiable measures used to evaluate the effectiveness of digital transformation. So I will also share with you the digital innovation success framework that you can always leverage, right? To be able to measure what innovation that you have created, and for you to understand the critical impact, and for you to know, okay, does this really mirrors to my organizational objectives, and for you to think deeply to uncover the other layers of it too, because one beautiful thing about innovation is there's always more to come. It's never end. It's never a one bus stop. So how do you measure the success of your innovation? Efficiency, effectiveness, engagement, and impact. So how efficient is the innovation that you've created? How effective it is, right, for the life of the people or the users? What about the engagement part too? And last but not the least is the impact. So does this also bring down to the bottom line too? Is there an impact on the community overall? Is there an impact on the organization? So were your organizations able to create new ideas as a result of this? Did it transform people's life? You have to think about all of those critical components. And it doesn't end there at all. So it has to be like a circle, right? A continuous improvement. It's a loop. That is why if you look at there is a logo that is consistent here, the yin yang. So because to me, aside the fact that I love the whole principle of human-centered design and innovation, because to me, I feel life it's all about innovation. We innovate every day, whether we choose it or not. We innovate every day. And there is this concept that I've been really talking a lot about lately. It's called self-innovation and strategic imagination. So strategic imagination, another day, we'll leave that for another topic because that is just a huge one on its own. But self-innovation, the important part of self-innovation is, there is this popular saying by a famous drag icon. For all of you that knows and watch RuPaul's Drag Race, I mean, I kill time sometimes to watching that because I just want to laugh and learn. He says you can love yourself if you don't love. How can you love another person if you don't love yourself? I just paraphrased it. However, if you have to bring that to self-innovation, it also really boils down to this particular thing as well of you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have an eye, I wonder what you want to give, right? So, and you have to think about it from that perspective as well. You self-innovate every day. Let me tell you this. When you wake up in the morning, you just bring it home again. When you wake up in the morning, if you brush your teeth well, and if you take care of your face, all of that, right, you will see a result that will be very good compared to when you wake up in the morning, right? No brushing, no cleaning of the face, and you just went to work. People will tell the difference because one might be like, oh my God. At the other, I'm like, oh my God, your face is glowing. So this is just practical little things that you do on a daily basis to innovate. Even reading, right? Reading is also part of self innovation. Just practicing the principles of psychotecture as well is another part of innovation, right? Self-innovation, because psychotecture actually brings the whole conversation of psychology and architecture to self-innovate. So anyway, to just quickly peruse through this too, right? These are just also some industrial use cases on how they measure digital transformation. So take, for example, Amazon use of metrics to refine its recommendation engine, contributing to a 35% revenue increase. Zara, a reputable fashion brand, also used real-time sales data to optimize inventory management, resulting in a 20% rise in profits. So these are the frameworks too that you can perhaps utilize to understand if what you are making is actually being successful or not, if it's been impactful, if it's been efficient, effective, or if it's engaging. So measuring the impact of the digital transformation initiative is critical for understanding their values and guiding future efforts. Now, I just want each and everyone here to please take a step with me because we are all leaders, right? We are creating the net new ideas too. So be the architect of change in your respective organization. And if I'm going to bring it up again, bring the architect of change in your personal life because you can't give what you don't have. In order for you to give your organization that powerful idea, right? You have to refine it. You have to understand the idea before you even pitch it out. I will encourage you to lead with vision, design with empathy, collaborate with diversity, measure with intent, and innovate with humanity. Human first. And with human first comes with empathy. And last but not the least, just a question for you. I want you to think about this critically. How will you drive a 10% improvement in your team's innovation output this quarter? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do different? Just think about it. How will you drive that, right, this quarter? I leave you with this quote. The true essence of innovation is in the employment of this element: explore, encourage, empower, and establish. As leaders, these are things that we can do on a daily basis to really help our team get to the place it's supposed to be and to get our organization to that North Star that we're heading to. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, and I empower you to lead digital transformation with AI and human-centered innovation. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for all of the incredible speakers, that has actually given us powerful insights on what we need to know about AI, how we can leverage AI to be more productive, to be more efficient, and how we can lead with human-centered design in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Wow. It was an inspiring conversation that you led, and had the chat light up with hearts and clapping and different signals that people enjoyed that time. And what people don't know is that they have the opportunity to network with you directly in just a few minutes as we get ready for the end of networking. And we're going to begin networking on a different platform. So once again, I want to thank Kelly Dowd of KPMG. The presentation was so inspiring, and I'm glad that people can download the notes. And I put in the chat Kelly's LinkedIn profile direct URL, so you can follow that as well. What a day that we've had for this 6th Artificial Intelligence Innovation Summit. As you know, we do this every month, and we have 5 speakers that speak for 15 minutes each, and 1 showcase speaker that speaks for 45 minutes. And then look at what is next. People love the opportunity that we now have created with speed networking for the final 45 minutes. So there's a link in the chat that if you look, you'll see the link to register. You just have to put your name and email address. That's all that needs to be done. But look in the chat, go to networkonzoom.com. This is the website domain, so write it on a piece of paper, because you're actually going to log out of this webinar where we've had a huge attendance and a large audience. And some of those people want to meet you and to connect up with you. So the networking is done in small groups, breakout rooms of 5 to 6 people. So there you have the link in the chat. There's a registration link. And what I'd like to do is let you know that we are officially done with the main educational portion of the summit, but the summit still continues on Network on Zoom. And so in the chat is the link, or go to networkonzoom.com. We're going to take about 3 to 4 minute break right now, where all of you can run to the restroom, grab a drink, grab whatever you'd like to have for the networking portion. And again, you're going to join us at networkonzoom.com. Once again, that's networkonzoom.com, or I'll just leave the chat open for another 2 minutes so you can copy and paste the information that you want to remember. So scroll through the chat, look at people's LinkedIn profiles, copy them. You'll have a chance to meet some of them when we go into the speed networking. So thank you again for spending several hours with us. Thank you to Robert Sababadi for the excellent production and having everything run smooth. And thank you to all the speakers. Remember, you can download the PDF of everybody's slides. Tomorrow, you'll get an email from me with a link to the YouTube channel page where you can see the full event. And then next week, all of the individual speakers and sponsors will have their presentations uploaded so you can see them as well. And they're shared all over LinkedIn. So thank you. I will see you at networkonzoom.com in just a couple minutes. Bye-bye, everybody. Farewell, and thank you.